Hi, I'm Steve Koski, host of Cruisin with Papa Steve, where we explore California's East Bay on my Honda Rebel 1100. Let's go cruisin'. One of my favorite rides on my Honda Rebel 1100 DCT is to cruise Grizzly Peak Boulevard. However, calling the road a boulevard is too optimistic. In other places in the United States, a boulevard is a wide, multi-lane arterial thoroughfare. A boulevard is often divided by a central median. Sometimes it has side streets running parallel along each side, designed for slow travel and parking lanes, and for bicycles and pedestrians. Boulevards sometimes feature above-average quality landscaping and scenery. Grizzly Peak Boulevard instead is a two-lane blacktop that meanders along the ridgeline of Berkeley Hills. The road extends 9 miles from Kenyon Avenue in Kensington to the north, through Berkeley and Oakland, to its intersection with Skyline Boulevard, overlooking Oakland to the south. I could argue that Grizzly Peak Boulevard is a boulevard because 25% of the road features above average quality scenery. Facing westward along much of the route, Grizzly Peak Boulevard overlooks San Francisco Bay. You can delight in a bird's eye view of Berkeley, scan the flagship campus of University of California, and observe the San Francisco-Oakland Bay Bridge connecting the East Bay to the San Francisco Peninsula. Midway across the bay, you can see the small island of Alcatraz, where federal prisoners were formerly confined. Beyond the prison is the iconic Golden Gate Bridge, crossing the entrance to the bay between San Francisco and Marin County. The boulevard winds past its namesake, Grizzly Peak, which rises to 1,768 feet above San Francisco Bay. The road follows the curve of the mountain, down the hill on the west side of the summit. Grizzly Peak became more accessible in 1932 when Grizzly Peak Boulevard was built. The northernmost half of the boulevard serves a middle-class residential neighborhood of Berkeley. Along our route, the street is lined with $1 and $2 million homes, many of which have views of the bay. Berkeley is named after 18th century Irish bishop and philosopher George Berkeley. It borders the cities of Oakland and Emeryville to the south. Its eastern border with Contra Costa County generally follows the ridge of the Berkeley Hills. The 2010 census recorded a Berkeley population of 112,580. More recent estimates suggest Berkeley now is home to about 121,000 people. The town of Berkeley was incorporated by California in 1878. The city is considered one of the most politically liberal in the United States. Berkeley is home to the first campus of the University of California system, the University of California, Berkeley. Where Berkeley sits now was the territory of the Ohlone people before Europeans arrived in 1776. Berkeley and much of the East Bay began as Rancho San Antonio on land granted to the Louis Peralta family in 1820 by King Ferdinand VII of Spain. Spain surrendered control of California in 1821 when it granted Mexico independence. Alta California became a Mexican territory, with the territorial capital in Monterrey. The United States declared war against Mexico in 1846 over disputes between Mexico and the newly independent Republic of Texas. The Mexican-American War ended when the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo was signed 2 years later. By the terms of the treaty, Mexico formally ceded Alta California along with its other northern territories west of the Louisiana Purchase. The United States agreed to pay Mexico $15 million in exchange for the lands. San Francisco Bay and the rest of California became a U.S. territory. 2 years later, California became the 31st state, after Congress passed the California Statehood Act, September 9, 1850. The East Bay played a pivotal early role in California's statehood. The state capital was variously at San Jose from 1850 to 1851, Vallejo from 1852 to 1853, and Benicia from 1853 to 1854. Sacramento was finally selected as the state capital in 1854. In 1866, Oakland's private Christian All-Men's College of California, which was located near downtown Oakland, began to look for a new site. The downtown Oakland site had become unsuitable. It allowed no room for expansion, and college leaders sought a rural location away from the crowdedness and general rowdiness of downtown Oakland. Administrators settled on a location north of Oakland along the foothills of the Contra Costa Range, which was later named the Berkeley Hills. The new site sat astride Strawberry Creek at an elevation about 500 feet above the water, commanding a view of the bay and through the Golden Gate to the Pacific Ocean. The College of California's College Homestead Association planned to raise funds for the new campus by selling off adjacent parcels of land. However, the plan fell far short of its vision. Instead, college leaders collaborated with the fledgling state, California. The collaboration culminated in 1868 with the creation of California's public land grant, University of California. The university is now the flagship of the University of California system, with other campuses in Davis, Irvine, Los Angeles, Merced, Riverside, San Diego, San Francisco, Santa Barbara, and Santa Cruz. The 2019-2020 U.S. News & World Report's Best Colleges ranked University of California, Berkeley second nationally among public universities and 22nd among national universities. It is the post-secondary home of nearly 32,000 undergraduates and 12,000 graduate students. Despite being the original site of University of California, Berkeley grew slowly as a city until the Great San Francisco earthquake of 1906. The town and other parts of the East Bay escaped serious damage, so thousands of refugees flowed across the bay. Among them were most of San Francisco's painters and sculptors, who between 1907 and 1911 created one of the largest art colonies west of Chicago. The remainder of the route is largely undeveloped, but offers numerous overlooks where the splendor of the bay may be savored. Grizzly Peak Boulevard is a popular attraction for people seeking panoramic vistas of the Golden Gate Bridge and the breathtaking beauty of San Francisco Bay. Today, the temperature is 63 degrees. The bay is shrouded in fog. Grizzly Peak was named for the California grizzly bear that inhabited the area until the late 1800s. The first local killing of a grizzly by a European occurred in 1772. Spanish soldiers shot the bear along Strawberry Creek within what is now downtown Berkeley. The last bear sighting in this area was by an unfortunate man who was reportedly killed by a grizzly. His remains were discovered in Strawberry Canyon below Grizzly Peak in the 1860s. The last grizzly in all of California was killed in the Sierra foothills east of Fresno in 1922. Parts of Grizzly Peak Boulevard establish the western border of Tilden Regional Park. Tilden Park is located largely within unincorporated areas of Contra Costa County, while parts of the park lie within Oakland and Berkeley. Tilden is a 2,079-acre park managed by the East Bay Regional Park District. The park was created from the first land the district purchased in 1936. The park's steep valleys and dense stands of timber offer a rare wilderness experience so close to the city. Its high ridges and peaks provide sweeping views of San Francisco Bay. In the opposite direction, inland across other preserved land, Mount Diablo is visible. Tilden Park was named in honor of Charles Lee Tilden, a Bay Area lawyer and businessman who served on the first board of directors of the East Bay Regional Park District. Prior to becoming a public park, these were the ancestral lands of the Ohlone Indians. Spanish explorers and Mexican ranchos drove the Ohlone off the land. Ranching became the dominant activity. Parts of the parkland had previously been cleared for agricultural use. In many places, exotic trees such as eucalyptus were planted. Giant sequoias were planted more recently. American ranchers during the late 1800s and early 1900s included the Cruisin family and the Sweetbriar Dairy. The eucalyptus plantations within the park were planted about 1910 by Frank C. Havens, Eucalyptus, Mahogany, and Land Company. Current conservation efforts are restoring native vegetation. Significant parts of the park are covered in native coastal scrub. The East Bay Regional Parks District uses grazing to reduce vegetation and the risk of fire. Each summer, goat herds graze in Tilden. In addition to major areas of wilderness, the park includes several developed features, including environmental education areas, an extensive botanical garden, a swimming lake, a golf course, a model farm, a miniature train, a merry-go-round, and an event menu. The Tilden Park Golf Course is an 18-hole public course. It was designed by architect William Park Bell. WPA workers built it. The golf course formally opened in 1937. The Brazilian Room is an event venue and banquet hall located in the central portion of the park. Brazilian hardwood from the Brazilian Pavilion at the Golden Gate International Exposition, 1939 and 1940, was used extensively as the interior for Tilden Park's Brazilian Room. The Tilden Park merry-go-round is an antique merry-go-round built in 1912. The merry-go-round was moved to Tilden Park in 1948. 1948 is the year Papa Steve was born. The popular ride is listed in the National Register of Historic Places. Papa Steve is not. After World War II, pony rides, a model airplane field, tennis courts, a trout fishing pond, and Tilden Park merry-go-round were added. The Southgate and Pacific Railway, precursor to the Redwood Valley Railway, began running in 1952. The Redwood Valley Railway is a rideable, miniature 15-gauge train. Its 1¼ mile track gives passengers about a 12-minute ride. The train carries 160,000 people per year. With these attractions joining the already existing golf course, botanic garden, Brazilian Room, and Lake Anza, Tilden Park became a quintessential East Bay experience for thousands of families that flocked to the Bay Area during and after World War II. The Little Farm is a model farm with a vegetable garden, shorthorn cattle, sheep, goats, rabbits, pigs, and poultry. Visitors can feed the animals and learn about the working farm from farm staff. Lake Anza is located in the central portion of Tilden Regional Park and is open for swimming from May to September. Nearby hiking trails and picnic areas are open year-round. The regional park's botanic garden has an extensive collection of California native plants laid out over 10 acres. The garden includes many rare and endangered California flora. A bus line from the Berkeley BART station carries passengers to the park on weekends. The bus stops at the Tilden Nature Area Little Farm, Lone Oak Road, Lake Anza Merry-Go-Round, and the Brazilian Room Botanic Garden. Then it returns to Berkeley. That's Skyline Boulevard ahead, bringing us to the end of our cruise along Grizzly Peak Boulevard. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can tell me if you did by clicking the like button below. Also, I would be delighted if you would subscribe to Cruisin' with Papa Steve. If you don't, I'll be just another codger talking to himself on the internet. See you on the road.